Imagine you're sitting at your desk on a Monday morning in January 2026, scrolling through the news while pretending to work. You see a headline that makes absolutely zero sense. U.S. unemployment hits 6%, the highest it's been in years. You think, okay, that's bad, recession confirmed, time to panic. But then you scroll down one more article. U.S. GDP grows 5%, economy booming, stock market hitting record highs. Wait, what? How can both of these things be true at the same time? How can the economy be exploding while millions of Americans are losing their jobs? This isn't just confusing, it's terrifying. Because what's happening right now in 2026 is something we've never seen before in economic history. The economy's growing without you, it doesn't need you anymore, and that changes everything. This is the AI jobs paradox, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how the American middle class is being deleted in real time while Wall Street celebrates. Let's start with the numbers, because they're absolutely wild. In January 2026, the unemployment rate climbed to 6%. That's up from 4.1% just a few months ago. That's millions of people who lost their jobs in a matter of weeks. Construction workers, retail employees, office administrators, accountants, customer service reps, all gone. But here's where it gets strange. At the exact same time, GDP growth hit 5%. That's massive growth. That's boom territory. Corporate profits are soaring. The S&P 500 is breaking records almost every week. Billionaires are getting richer faster than ever. So what the hell is going on? The answer is one word: efficiency. Companies figured out they don't need as many humans anymore. AI tools, automation software, robots, machine learning algorithms, they're doing the work that used to require 10 people with just one person and a laptop. And from a corporate perspective, this is beautiful. Costs go down, profits go up, shareholders get rich. But from your perspective, from the perspective of the guy who just got laid off because ChatGPT can now do his job, this is a nightmare. Let me give you some real examples of what's happening right now in America. Customer service departments, companies like AT&T, Verizon, Amazon, they've slashed their call center staff by 40 to 60% in the last year. Why? Because AI chatbots now handle 80% of customer inquiries without a human ever touching them. The AI doesn't need a salary, doesn't need health insurance, doesn't take lunch breaks, doesn't complain. It just works 24/7 for pennies. Accounting and bookkeeping. Small and medium-sized businesses used to hire bookkeepers and accountants to manage their finances. Now they're using AI software like QuickBooks, AI, Xero, and automated tax filing tools. One software subscription replaces 3 full-time employees. Content creation and marketing. This one's brutal for creative workers. Companies used to hire writers, graphic designers, video editors, social media managers. Now, AI tools like Midjourney, ChatGPT, and Runway are pumping out blog posts, ads, videos, and social content in seconds. A marketing team that used to be 15 people is now 3 people with AI tools. Legal research and document review. Big law firms are using AI to scan thousands of legal documents in hours, work that used to take junior lawyers weeks. Those $80,000 a year associate positions, disappearing fast. Manufacturing and warehouse work, this has been happening for years, but it's accelerating. Amazon's warehouses are now 70% automated. Robots do the picking, packing, and sorting. Tesla's factories have more robots than humans on the floor. And here's the kicker, it's not just low-skill jobs getting wiped out, it's middle-class jobs. Jobs that used to pay $50,000 to $100,000 a year. These were the jobs that built the American dream. The jobs that let you buy a house, raise a family, retire comfortably. And they're vanishing. But the economy doesn't care, because productivity is through the roof. Companies are producing more goods and services with fewer people, and that shows up as GDP growth. So the economy looks healthy on paper, but for the average worker, it's a disaster. Now let's talk about why this is different from every other time in history when technology replaced jobs. In the past, when new technology came along, yes, it destroyed some jobs, but it also created new jobs. The car replaced the horse and buggy, but it created jobs in auto manufacturing, gas stations, road construction. The computer replaced typewriters, but it created jobs in software, IT, tech support. The pattern was always the same. Short-term pain, long-term gain, workers adapt, new industries emerge, everyone moves forward. But this time, it's different, and here's why. AI doesn't just replace one type of job, it replaces entire categories of cognitive work. It's not just taking blue-collar jobs, it's taking white-collar jobs too. And the new jobs being created, they're not enough and they don't pay as well. Sure, there are new jobs in AI training, data labeling, prompt engineering, but those jobs pay $30,000 to $50,000 a year, and there are only a few 100,000 of them. Meanwhile, we're losing millions of middle-class jobs. The math doesn't work, the new jobs can't absorb the people losing their old jobs. And even if you retrain, even if you go back to school and learn AI skills, You're competing with millions of other people doing the same thing. The supply of workers is overwhelming the demand for AI jobs. This is the paradox. Economic growth without job growth, profits without people, prosperity without workers. It's a system that's optimizing for corporate efficiency at the expense of human livelihoods. And the scariest part, this is just the beginning. We're in the early stages of the AI revolution. The tools we have now in 2026 are primitive compared to what's coming in 2027, 2028, 2030. AI is going to get better, faster, cheaper, and it's going to replace even more jobs. Truck drivers, radiologists, teachers, journalists, software developers, nobody is safe. The only question is how fast it happens and whether society can adapt before the whole system collapses. So let's talk about who's actually winning in this new economy, because it's definitely not you. The winners are the people who own the AI, the people who own the companies, the people who own the stock. If you're a CEO or a major shareholder in a Fortune 500 company right now, you are living in paradise. Your company just cut 20% of its workforce, your costs dropped by tens of millions of dollars, and your stock price went up 30%. You get a massive bonus, you buy another vacation home, life is good. But if you're the worker who just got replaced by an algorithm, you're screwed. You've got a mortgage, car payments, credit card debt, maybe kids in school, and now you've got no income. You start applying for jobs, but every company in your industry is doing the same thing, cutting staff and replacing them with AI. The competition for the remaining jobs is brutal, hundreds of applicants for every opening. And even if you do find something, it pays 30 to 40% less than what you were making before. This is creating a two-tier economy, the haves and the have-nots, and the gap between them is getting wider every single day. Let's look at some numbers that should make your blood boil. Corporate profit margins in 2026 are at an all-time high. Companies are keeping more of every dollar they make than ever before in history. Why? Because labor costs are plummeting. Meanwhile, the labor force participation rate, that's the percentage of working-age Americans who have jobs, is dropping fast. It's now at 61%, down from 63.4% just 2 years ago. That means millions of people have just given up looking for work because there's nothing out there for them. And wage growth, it's basically dead. For the workers who still have jobs, wages are growing at 2% per year, but inflation is running at 3 to 4%. So in real terms, you're getting poorer every year, even if you keep your job. But here's the really dark part, and the stock market doesn't care about any of this. In fact, the stock market loves it. Every time a company announces layoffs, the stock price goes up, because investors know that means higher profits. Tesla announces 10,000 job cuts. Stock goes up 5%. Google announces 15,000 job cuts. Stock goes up 8%. The market is rewarding companies for firing people and punishing companies that try to keep workers employed. This is the dystopia we're living in, an economy where human labor is seen as a cost to be eliminated, not an asset to be valued. Now let's talk about what this means for the average American family, because it's not pretty. If you're in your 20s or 30s right now, you're facing a job market that is fundamentally different from the one your parents had. Your parents could get a decent job out of high school or college, work for the same company for 30 years, get raises and promotions, retire with a pension. That world is gone. It's never coming back. In the AI economy, you're going to have to constantly reinvent yourself, learn new skills every few years, jump from job to job, deal with long periods of unemployment. Job security is a thing of the past. Stability is a luxury only the rich can afford. And if you're in your 40s or 50s right now, you're in the worst position of all. You're too old to easily retrain for a new career, but you're too young to retire. If you lose your job to AI right now, you might never find another one that pays what you were making. You'll burn through your savings, maybe lose your house, and end up working part-time retail jobs just to survive. This is the reality for millions of Americans, and it's only getting worse. Let's talk about the political response to all this, because it's basically non-existent. Politicians love to talk about jobs, 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 but they have no idea how to deal with the AI revolution. Some Democrats are pushing for universal basic income, the idea that the government should just give everyone a monthly check to survive. But that's political suicide in America. Half the country sees that as socialism and will never support it. Some Republicans are pushing for tax cuts and deregulation, the idea that if you just let businesses do whatever they want, the economy will grow and everyone will benefit. But we're already seeing what happens when you do that. Companies get richer and workers get poorer. Neither party has a real plan, and meanwhile, the problem is getting worse every single month. Here's what nobody in Washington wants to admit. We are headed toward a future where 30 to 40% of the population is permanently unemployed or underemployed. Not because they're lazy, not because they didn't work hard, but because there simply aren't enough jobs for everyone anymore. And when that happens, when tens of millions of Americans have no income and no hope, what do you think happens to society? Crime goes up, social unrest goes up, political extremism goes up, the whole system starts to fracture. We've seen this before in history when large portions of the population feel like they have no future. They get angry and desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. This is not fear-mongering. This is basic economics and sociology. If you create a permanent underclass with no economic opportunity, you get instability, you get violence, you get collapse. And we're barreling toward that future right now with our eyes wide shut. Now let's talk about the companies that are driving this, because they know exactly what they're doing. The tech giants, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, they're pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into AI development. They're racing to build the most powerful AI systems, because whoever wins the AI race controls the future economy. And they don't care about the human cost, they care about profits and market share. Every one of these companies has laid off thousands of workers in the last year, while simultaneously bragging about record AI investments. Microsoft laid off 10,000 people and then spent $10 billion on OpenAI. Google laid off 12,000 people and then announced a massive expansion of their AI division. Amazon cut 27,000 jobs and then deployed thousands more robots in their warehouses. They're not even hiding it anymore. The message is clear. Humans are expensive. AI is cheap. We're going with AI. And the CEOs of these companies, they go on stage at tech conferences and talk about how AI is going to create a better future for humanity. They talk about AI solving climate change, curing diseases, unlocking human potential, but they never talk about the millions of people who are going to lose their jobs and their livelihoods. They never talk about the social chaos that's coming. They just talk about innovation and progress and disruption, as if those are always good things. Here's the truth. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. But right now, it's being used to maximize corporate profits at the expense of workers. And unless something changes, unless we as a society decide that human welfare matters more than shareholder returns, this is only going to get worse. So what do? How do you survive in an economy that's actively trying to replace you? First, let's be brutally honest about what's coming, because denial won't help you. If your job involves repetitive tasks, data entry, basic analysis, customer service, routine writing, scheduling, bookkeeping, you are in the danger zone. AI can already do those jobs cheaper and faster than you, and companies are figuring that out right now. Within the next 2 to 3 years, most of those jobs will be automated or severely reduced. If you're in one of those fields, you need to move now, not later, now. But here's the problem. Even if you retrain, even if you pivot to a new career, there's no guarantee that career won't also get automated in 5 years. So what's the strategy? How do you stay valuable in an AI world? Here's what the experts are saying, and honestly, it's not very comforting. Focus on skills that AI can't replicate, at least not yet. Human connection, emotional intelligence, creativity, strategic thinking, leadership, negotiation, these are areas where humans still have an edge. Jobs that require you to build relationships, manage people, solve complex, ambiguous problems, those are harder to automate. So if you're a salesperson who builds real relationships with clients, you're safer than a salesperson who just processes orders. If you're a manager who motivates and leads teams, you're safer than a manager who just schedules tasks. If you're a designer who creates truly original work, you're safer than a designer who just follows templates. But let's be real, those jobs are limited and they don't pay what they used to. The second strategy is to become an AI power user. Learn how to use AI tools better than everyone else. If you can't beat the machines, work with the machines. Companies still need people who can manage AI systems, train them, integrate them, fix them when they break. If you can position yourself as the person who makes AI work for your company, you've got job security for a while. But here's the catch. That only works if you're constantly learning and adapting. The AI tools in 2026 will be outdated by 2027. You have to stay ahead of the curve or you get left behind. And most people can't do that. Most people want stability. They want to learn a skill once and use it for 30 years. That era is over. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this isn't just about individual survival. This is about what kind of society we want to live in. Right now, we're on a path toward extreme inequality, a world where a small elite owns the AI and the robots, and everyone else fights for scraps. That's not sustainable. That's not a society anyone wants to live in, even the rich. Because when you have 40% unemployment and mass desperation, your gated community and your security guards won't protect you forever. History shows us what happens when inequality gets too extreme. Revolutions, wars, collapse. So we need to have a serious conversation about how we distribute the wealth created by AI. If AI is making companies insanely profitable, where does that money go? Right now it goes to shareholders and executives, the people who already have the most money. But there are other options. We could tax AI productivity and use that money to fund social programs, education, healthcare, infrastructure. We could require companies to share profits with workers, not just shareholders. We could shorten the work week so the remaining jobs are spread among more people. We could implement universal basic income so people have a safety net when they lose their jobs. These aren't radical ideas. These are practical solutions that other countries are already experimenting with. But in America, we're so allergic to anything that sounds like socialism that we'd rather watch society collapse than try something new. And that's the real tragedy here. We have the technology to create a world of abundance, a world where nobody has to work 60 hours a week just to survive. But instead, we're using that technology to make the rich richer and everyone else poorer. It doesn't have to be this way, but it will be this way unless people wake up and demand change. Now let's talk about the stock market paradox, because this is where it gets really twisted. The S&P 500 is at record highs in 2026. The Dow is soaring. Investors are making fortunes. But most Americans don't own significant amounts of stock. About 60% of Americans own some stock, but the top 10% own 87% of all stock wealth. So when the market goes up, it helps a small percentage of people a lot, and the average person barely at all. Your 401k might go up a little bit, but that doesn't help you if you just lost your job and can't pay rent. This is why the disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street has never been bigger. Wall Street looks at the economy and sees record profits, record valuations, incredible growth. Main Street looks at the economy and sees job losses, stagnant wages, rising costs, desperation. Both things are true at the same time, and that's the paradox. The economy is booming for the people who own capital, and it's collapsing for the people who sell their labor. And AI is accelerating this divide faster than anything we've seen before. Here's the part that should keep you up at night. This is just the beginning. The AI we have now in 2026, GPT-5, Claude 4, Gemini Ultra, these are impressive, but they're still limited. They can't do complex reasoning. They can't handle truly novel situations. They make mistakes. But in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, those limitations will disappear. We're going to have AI that can do almost any cognitive task better than a human. AI doctors, AI lawyers, AI engineers, AI teachers, AI managers, AI everything. And when that happens, the job market won't just shrink, it will collapse. Some estimates say that 50 to 60% of all current jobs could be automated by 2035. Think about that. More than half of all jobs gone in less than 10 years. What does society look like when half the population has no way to earn money? Nobody knows, because we've never been in that situation before. This is uncharted territory, and we're flying into it, blind with no plan and no leadership. So, here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for the government to save you. Don't wait for your company to protect you. Take control of your own future right now. Build multiple income streams. Learn high-value skills. Network like crazy. Save as much money as you can. Invest in assets that hold value. And most importantly, pay attention to what's happening. The people who survive disruption are the people who see it coming and adapt early. The people who get destroyed are the people who assume everything will stay the same. Right now, in January 2026, we are living through the biggest economic transformation since the Industrial Revolution. And just like the Industrial Revolution, this is going to create massive winners and massive losers. The question is, which side are you going to be on? If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep tracking this AI revolution every single week. This is not going away. This is the new reality, and you need to understand it to survive it. Drop a comment below and tell me, has AI affected your job yet? Are you worried? Are you preparing? I want to hear your story. And if you know someone who needs to see this, someone who's in denial about what's coming, share this video with them. Because the more people who understand what's happening, the better chance we have of forcing real change. Thanks for watching Empire Cycle. This is the truth about the AI economy that nobody wants to talk about. The 6% unemployment, the 5% GDP growth, it's not a paradox. It's a warning. The economy is leaving you behind, and if you don't adapt, you're going to get crushed. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.